There's so many bogus claims about what GPT can do and how it'll make humanity obsolete. So I made CatGPT, a fully functional cat dating app, and I'll show you how it went. I started by asking GPT-4,
You want to develop an app?
and it immediately started spitting out code and told me what to do with it. I ended up using 92 prompts to make this app, which resulted in 23 files and 606 lines of JS code and 392 lines of Python code. Let me know in the comments if you can do it with fewer prompts. Our app features fully functional login and register screens, followed by a main screen which shows the 30 closest cats to our location. They all show us really cute profile pictures. So let's click on Salem's, and we enter the chat screen where Salem is more than happy to tell us about himself. Every cat has a unique origin story and can tell us what it likes or dislikes. Here Salem tells us how he likes playing chess and controlling his human's hands. You know, cat things. Going back to the chat screen, we can click our own profile and upload a new profile picture, hopefully pleasing the neighborhood cat overlords. But how did we get GPT to do all this? I started out by giving it a detailed description of what I wanted my app to look like, and then gave it a list of features for each screen in my app. Out of this came a bunch of code that sometimes worked and sometimes didn't. However, GPT turned out to be quite adept at fixing small errors when presented with the error message. Overall, I instructed it what to do 25 times, asked it to continue when it hit the answer limit 8 times, told it to fix errors 42 times, and gave it simple instructions to change the styling 17 times. Also, I asked it a question about what it was doing once. Overall, it kept forgetting things it had written before pretty quickly, so I found it a good practice to keep reminding it what files looked like. When I ran into errors, it really worked best to copy in as much of the error message as I had. This resulted in GPT trying to fix the errors, or if it couldn't, telling me where to put print and log statements to figure out what was going wrong. This would lead to it sometimes changing functionality outright or forgetting things. What I found helped really well is to explicitly remind it to keep functionality as it was. Ultimately, what I found is that sometimes GPT can work really well if you give it just your goals, but sometimes you need to be explicit and write it commands about what it's supposed to do exactly. So in conclusion, what it was really a help with is scaffolding, styling, setting up boilerplate code, and fixing simple errors. What didn't work well was it remembering code it had written before, using packages correctly and keeping track of older and newer versions, keeping consistent with coding style and conventions, and most importantly, keeping track of variable names that sound similar but refer to very different things. So at the beginning of this experiment, I was really in awe of what GPT can do. However, this was quickly followed by a valley of doom, thinking it was useless beyond simple scaffolding. But then I tweaked my approach, and GPT's answers improved a lot. All in all, it is a great start for a coding help, and it's a bit scary what it might become. However, in its current state, it was not much use to me personally, and I would have been much faster just writing the app on my own, googling things here and there. But the trajectory is clear, and we will for sure see improvements along the way, such as AutoGPT or specialized GPT versions for coding. If you liked this video, consider controlling your human's hand to hit the like button. Subscribe so you don't miss part 2, where we'll take a closer look at the code GPT generated.